Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from Mountain Brook and Spartan Stadium. This is Barry Copeland along with Fred Morris here for another broadcast of Homewood High School Patriot football, and we're delighted to have you with us this evening. Fred, I'm glad to have you with us. Wayne Glasscock is taking a little vacation leave tonight, and well-deserved, I might add at that, but we're delighted to be here with you.
Good to be here with you, Barry.
You know, we ought to set the stage, I guess, by talking about an absolutely magnificent start to the 1990 season last week in Sylacauga, as the Homewood Patriots rode it out, I guess is the best way to say it, over the Sylacauga Aggies with a 14-13 win. Definitely a great way to start the season. We've got a healthy squad that comes in here tonight, and a squad that the coaches learned a lot about during the past week. How about setting the stage for us as far as Homewood is concerned tonight?
Well, Homewood comes into tonight's game healthy, as you said. They also come in with the experience of having made key adjustments on defense when they needed to. They got Sylacauga. The first few series were tough. Sylacauga looked as though they were going to do whatever they wanted to throughout the evening. Yet some key defensive adjustments turned the momentum in Homewood's favor.
Absolutely. Of course, Robert Davis comes in tonight with a pretty good start to the season, considering that these teams we're playing are keying on him. Robert had 110 yards of offense last week. Kenneth Evans, as you mentioned, at fullback, also back, and it provided that variety in the Homewood offense that was really important, I thought.
Kenneth Evans got a key first down last week in Sylacauga when the Aggie defense were looking for Robert Davis.
Well, Mountain Brook wins the toss, and we're getting ready for the kickoff here, so we'll be back with the start of the football game from Mountain Brook, between Homewood and Mountain Brook, right after this from one of our sponsors. Game of the 1990 season, Duncan Morris deep for Mountain Brook. And we're underway, Fred. Morris, the ball carrier.
Carrying 17 yards. 32-yard line. First and 10. Tackled by
Mountain Brook gets set to move from their own 32-yard line. We'll see what that offense is made of right off the bat.
Very short kickoff return that time for Mountain Brook. It was a very short kick by Homewood. Spartans are bringing it up to the line.
goes to the right guard.
Sullivan gives to his fullback, Scarborough.
Mountain Brook not having very much success against the Vestavia defense last week. Looking to set the stage or establish something right now on the ground.
That play looked to be good for about a quick 4 yards. We'll call it 2nd and 6 now. Mountain Brook moving from your right. Opening minutes of play here from Spartan Field. That's a give to Scarborough again. Number 51, Dusty Smith, in on the stop for Homewood, assisted by number 88, Michael Flint.
Very basic football right now, Barry. Fullback up the middle and now a fullback lead.
We're beginning to see some patterns pretty early on here. Might say early on that we're assisted very ably in this process by a couple of spotters working with us tonight. Appreciate Clyde Cook being along with the crew tonight, and Larry Wygand working with us tonight as well.
Couldn't do it without them.
Absolutely couldn't do it without them. We'll have a measurement here. So that gain is good for the first down, and that's the first down of the Spartans' drive. They'll work from their own 42.
Coach Gene Ellison would like nothing better tonight than establish that running game, which gained only 83 yards against Vestavia last week.
Well, Sullivan brings him up now. Another gift to his big fullback, number 33, Alex Scarborough. Scarborough's been the workhorse so far tonight, and again beginning to be predictable.
Testing the middle of that Homewood defense right now. Testing, probing.
Lee Thompson in on the stop for Homewood.
As yet they haven't run anything wide. They're setting. It looks as though they're setting it up for the option play. Now would be a good play to run it on. Second, and looks like 8.
2nd and 8. The way I see it from here, we're in a little bit crowded conditions tonight, Fred. but we're going to make do. Well, flags on the play. Sullivan was about to try his first pass of the evening. We'll wait and see if we can get a preliminary signal from the officials. Looks like the indication is offsides against Mountain Brook. Or encroachment, I guess, is the proper term.
5-yard step off against the Mountain Brook Spartans.
That's going to bring up now third and looks like about 13, third and 12. Homewood must be looking for the pass on this one. Second down, I'm sorry.
Second and 14. Here we go. Be interesting to see if Coach Ellison comes with the same play.
Intended receiver on that one, Adam Wilson, number 9. Looks like it was broken up by Dusty Smith for Homewood.
Sullivan that time showed us very strong arm.
Strong arm. Right across the middle.
Passing into some traffic, however, but it did show a good, strong arm.
I believe if it was any more humid tonight, Fred, you could drink and breathe at the same time. Had a little rain right before the game started, and it is one hot night. Well, there's a flag down in the backfield on a third down and 12. Looked like they attempted a draw play, but we'll see what the official's indication is. The give was to Greg Bond, number 34. Stop made by number 46, Michael Coggin for Homewood.
Homewood, rather, coming with a blitz on that play. Looks as though they didn't anticipate Mountain Brook passing or following through with their threat of a pass.
Well, 9 minutes and 20 seconds now as the clock is stopped here in the first quarter, opening minutes of play. Penalty against Mountain Brook for illegal procedure. And that was declined by Homewood. That should bring up fourth and long.
4th and 15 from 37.
Interesting call that time by the Homewood coaches, taking a decline. Taking the penalty would have made it third and 18. Now they're going to force Mountain Brook to punt.
Well, Robert Davis and Brian Greer back for Homewood. Mountain Brook has Tim Rogers in punt formation.
Tim's a good kicker, averaging 43 yards per kick.
Robert's going to take it on his own 32. He's got a wall. One man left, and I believe he's beat him.
That's a touchdown.
Touchdown Homewood. Magnificent run from his own 32-yard line. Absolutely magnificent run, and we're going to add that to that total of 110 that he left last week with.
That's a way to start a Friday night.
Around his left side, the wall was in place. Robert Davis took advantage of it. He had one man left to beat on about the 20-yard line. West Steed is in to attempt the extra point. Jay Robertson's going to be holding it.
West Steed will be attempting the extra point. Jay Robertson will be holding.
I got him in there.
The official indicates it's no good. So with timeout on the field, 8 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. Your score is Homewood 6 and Mountain Brook nothing. What a great run back that was on the punt.
Sometimes, Barry, you can just tell when a great back catches the ball that something good is going to happen. That time, Robert Davis caught the ball cleanly. There was perfect blocking on the far side. He kick out and then blocked the Mountain Brook end out. Robert hit the seam, and he was all gone. The only bit of mystery would be whether or not the kicker would get in his way enough to tackle.
Greg Bond is back to receive for Mountain Brook. West Steed has it teed up and we're ready to go. puts a foot into it. Looks like it's coming down to number 17, Duncan Morris, who takes it in at about his 17-yard line. Morris up to the 34. Mark at the 35. Looks like Scott Hogue, Dwight Whalen in on the stop. Also Michael Andrzejewski in on that stop as well for Homewood. So Mountain Brook has the ball back in possession. They'll move from their own 35. Sullivan brings him up for another go at it. The give is to the fullback, the running back, Alex Scarborough. Lee Thompson, number 48, for Homewood in on the stop.
It's been a long time since we've seen the full house team.
Isn't that the truth?
Coach Ellison bringing up some memories of the past with that one. I don't know how much success this Mountain Brook offense will have running against Homewood. This defense, this is a very good defensive front for Homewood.
Well, I noticed those corners coming up a little bit, cheating up just a little bit tonight like they were last Friday night. The give is a pitch out to Greg Bond, but Dusty Smith was there to meet him.
Mountain Brook still attempting, still probing the Homewood defense. Trying the middle. Toss sweep, attempting so far 2 passes, which have been incomplete. Got to bring up a 3rd and 5 for the Spartans. Perhaps we'll see Patrick Sullivan put it in the air again.
Well, on 35, it's the give to number 34, Greg Bond, and he was met right in the middle by number 48, Lee Thompson.
Fine play.
Also, David Southward in on that play. Absolutely magnificent defensive play by the Homewood Patriots so far in this game.
I don't think Homewood right now is afraid of Mountain Brook's passing game.
I don't believe they are at all either. 6 minutes, 36 seconds remaining in this first quarter of play. Mountain Brook moving, but with a 4th and 5. Homewood sends back Brian Greer and Robert Davis deep. Tim Rogers, number 3, into punt for the Spartans. Well, he gets it away under some pressure. And we're going to let it roll out of bounds at about the 17, 18-yard line. So the Patriot offense will get a chance to work out just a little bit now. They've been resting on the sidelines for a while, Fred.
They haven't had much opportunity to play tonight. It's been all defense. Mountain Brook putting together a couple of first downs on their first drive. This time they weren't so fortunate. The Homewood offense has really been the forgotten man so far.
Absolutely. Well, Jay Robertson brings him up to the line. He's got Dwight Whalen split out to the right. Looks like Brian Greer over to the left.
Could be
Robert Davis is off.
He stayed in bounds.
They say that he ran out of bounds. It was Trip Smith, number 15, who pushed him out at the very end there. But we almost had another one, Fred.
Just about.
Robert has indicated he likes to chew up his offensive yardage in chunks of anything greater than 20 yards at a time.
Well, he's doing that tonight.
29-yard run by Robert Smith on that play. Brings up another first down, and Homewood moves now from their own 48. 6:01 remaining in the first quarter. Flag on the play. Roberson's pass to Kenneth Evans is complete. Stop made by number 17, Duncan Morris. Also, John Jeffcoat in on the play for Mountain Brook. We'll see what that preliminary indication is. It's like an illegal procedure call against the Patriots.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Well-conceived play that time by Homewood. Kenneth Evans went through the line and came into the flat. The threat of the run held the linebackers just long enough for Kenneth Evans to slip out in the flat, and he became the receiver.
Well, Fred, as we talked about at the beginning of the game, Kenneth was key in the game last week. That the running that he gave us took the attention off of Robert Davis and gave Homewood a much more balanced offensive attack.
He's the kind of back you want in your backfield with a Robert Davis because he can do so many things well. He can block and catch passes.
Well, they give us to Robert right up the middle, and he's gone for about 2 or 3. We'll have to see what the spot looks like. Jason Hard, number 69 from Mountain Brook, in on the stop.
Stopped by Jason Hart and Mark Whitman.
Must be second and long right now. Possibly see Roberson put it in the air again.
Pass to Brian Greer out in the flat.
Pass to Brian Greer, complete.
Stop made by number 17, Duncan Morris, and 37, Chris Phillips from Mountain Brook.
A little quick that time on the setup. The pass was a little quick to the flanker. The offensive lineman never had time to get out there in front of him.
First real possession down for the Homewood offense of this ballgame, Fred.
Sure is.
As they face a 3rd and 4 now. Moving from the Mountain Brook 46, and the clock runs with 4:55 remaining in the first quarter here.
And this is unfortunate for Mountain Brook because they have no idea whether it'll be a run or a pass, which is just the way Homewood likes it.
Roberts off to the races. He's out in front of the last 2 he could possibly get him and mark up another 6 points for the Homewood Patriots. Call that score 12-0. Fred, a key block by Kenneth Evans.
Exactly.
Absolutely key block.
That is the man that makes it go. You got to have the key blocks.
Our spotter Larry Whitegame reminds me Damon Southard had checked in just for that play.
You got to have your key block on the end. Also, your seal blocks on the inside for a Robert Davis anywhere, high school, college approach, to hit that seam and go 46 yards as he did that time.
Excellent running on that part. It looks like that Homewood is going to go for 2, make up the deficit on that first missed point after attempt. We'll see how they bring him out. Jay comes up to the line. He's got Kenneth Evans set forward at fullback. Robert Davis in the setback. And that attempt is unsuccessful.
Mountain Brook that time a good job of stringing it out and stopping it just short of the goal line.
Homewood's drive covered 4 carries and 148 yards of total offense so far in the ballgame.
Well, I'm not sure this is what the Homewood coaching staff expected. Mountain Brook generally plays Homewood a tough game, and it's far from over.
Well, West Steve teased the ball up again. This is the 3rd run he'll make at it tonight. They get ready to kick him off. Mountain Brook drops back number 17, Duncan Morris again. His deep set back is number 34, Greg Bond.
Barry, if this keeps up, substitutions will be important on the Homewood kickoff day.
West puts his toe into it. Greg Bond receives from Mountain Brook, takes it and moves from his own 4-yard line. Magnificent tackle by Tamer Savory, number 21 for Homewood. Head-on tackle, aggressive tackle. Also in on that play, number 2, Henry Walburn, on that special kicking team.
Well, this is an opportunity, and by no means is Mountain Brook finished for the evening, but this is an opportunity for the Homewood staff, having a 12-0 lead in the first quarter, to experiment with some of their offensive schemes and their defensive schemes.
Well, the clock stops with 4 minutes and 41 seconds for an official's timeout. Everybody will take a rest for a minute. You're absolutely right. I think that Mountain Brook may be a little surprised by what they've run into so far this evening, and certainly you would think they had practiced the keying on Robert Davis. And tonight in the one special team return for the touchdown and then 1 play off right tackle. Robert Davis was just untouchable almost.
I think that short yardage play surprised them, and that they may well have been expecting the pass from Jay Roberson to one of the Homewood receivers. The thing that made it go, however, other than perhaps a surprise factor, was again the blocking of Kenneth Evans, Jonathan Hammaker, and Chris Lusko.
And Damon Southard.
Exactly. Outstanding blocking, sealed off the inside. Robert hit the seam, and there's very few running backs in the city that are going to catch Robert Davis.
Well, the Homewood coaching staff is pacing and pondering as they are wont to do, but I would think that they're probably thinking they're in much better shape at this point in the game than perhaps they thought they might be.
Coach Gant pacing as he often does when he's ahead or even when he's behind, the man paces.
Well, the last drive covered 4 plays, 82 yards, and took 1 minute and 33 seconds off the clock. Of course, capped by that beautiful outside run by Robert Davis. Well, Patrick Sullivan brings him up to the line again, and I guess the question is Mountain Brook going to get some offense going in this particular drive, and he's back to pass. We'll have to get a name on number 87. They don't show him on the official Mountain Brook roster. On 97, I'm sorry. He's listed as Clark Dean. On the roster at number 98. We'll change that. That pass play good for 7 yards.
That could not have come at a better time for the Spartans.
Fred, that'll have the effect of loosening up that defense. We'll call it 2nd and 3. Sullivan with the give to number 34, Greg Bond. Bond up the middle, play good for a first down.
Over center, picks up the first.
Outstanding block that time by the interior of the Mountain Brook offensive line. Bill Shea, also Mark Britton, blowing a hole up the middle there. Too deep.
3 minutes, 24 seconds remaining in the first quarter as Sullivan looks at another 1st and 10. The gift again to number 34, Greg Bond up the middle. This time the play only good for about 2 yards.
It looks as though Mountain Brook's in Homewood territory.
Damon Safford in on that tackle.
15, come by Lee Thompson.
Lee Thompson with the assist.
Pick up a 2, 2nd and 8, 49.
Interesting down for Mountain Brook this time.
Yeah, a long yardage down on 2nd down, 8 to go.
And they have had the rollout pass from Sullivan. They've also had some success off tackle with their running back, Scarborough and Bond.
Too much time. Flags down on the play. The preliminary indication may be too much time. That is the indication. Delay of game against Mountain Brook, so they'll walk off 5. That'll bring up 2nd and about 13.
That should change the entire complexion of the next play, called by the Mountain Brook staff. Really no excuse for that on a drive that appears to be moving steadily to not get a play in time.
Just wide to Tommy Kendrick, the intended receiver of Sullivan's pass. Out there on the coverage, Scott Hogue, Wes Steed, also number 33, Elvin Skipper for Homewood.
Homewood playing a zone defense. Mountain Brook trying to exploit the seams in that zone. Just a little out of the reach of Tommy Kendrick. Perhaps Sullivan hurried his throw somewhat also.
Well, that brings up 3rd and long, 3rd and about 12. Call it a long 12. In and out of the arms of number 34, Greg Bond. So brings up 4th and long. Mountain Brook sends in number 3, Tim Rogers, to drop back in punt formation.
Rogers having a fairly good night punting the ball, except when you take out the one punt return that he did have for a 70-yard touchdown. He punted extremely well last week against Vestavia Hills, where he averaged 43 yards per punt.
Well, Homewoods drops back Robert Davis and Brian Greer. And they'll take a good look at this one. It's going to be out of bounds, and we'll see where they mark it. Looks like it's going to be right about the 40-yard line. So Homewood will move with 1st and 10 from its own 40. A 15-yard punt that time officially. The clock stopped now as Homewood comes up to the line with 2:17 remaining in the first quarter. Once again, if you're just joining us, our score is 12-0 Homewood here at Spartan Field in Mountain Brook. Another flag on the play. We'll see what the call is from the head linesman. Encroachment on the part of the Homewood Patriots, and that'll cost them 5 yards, so they'll work with a 1st and 15. Now moving from their 36.
That was an interesting defensive setup that time Mountain Brook had. They had not only a cornerback to the lower part of the screen covering the split end, but they brought a linebacker all the way out on the split end, a good 15-20 yards from the nearest, from the tackle. I've never seen that far out. And he's not quite that far yet. Here he comes again. This tailor-made for a
bootleg by Jay Roberson, but he's caught in the backfield. Looks like number 62, John Neiman, in on the tackle for Mountain Brook.
Mountain Brook experimenting with coverages right now on that play, on the snap of the ball. The two deep safeties, free safety and a strong safety, immediately started sprinting backward. However, if Homewood picks up on that fact and tries to cover, or decides to make Mountain Brook cover their split end with a linebacker, it could be trouble for the Spartans.
Well, I read that wrong on the last play. It was number 68, Brooke Kimbrough with the tackle. Jay on the bootleg, back to pass. He'll try to keep it, but number 79, Mark Britton, makes the stop for Mountain Brook. Assisted by number 28 for Mountain Brook, Justin Hinkle. Boy, that's going to bring up a tough situation for the Patriots now. Third and about 13.
Third and 13. Good coverage that time by the Mountain Brook secondary. Jay Roberson nowhere to throw it, and by the time he made the decision to run, nowhere to run.
1:10 remaining as the clock moves now. Again, Homewood with a third and about 12 or 13 yards. Sends two receivers wide to the right. The pitch to Robert Davis, and Davis with a workhorse run.
Outstanding run. Outstanding.
Robert brought down finally by number 37, Chris Phillips from Mountain Brook, but he takes it all the way down to the Mountain Brook 39-yard line.
I lost count on the third tackle broken by Robert Davis that time. He broke at least 3 tackles by the Spartans. Outstanding run. That one single play can have more effect demoralizing the Mountain Brook defense than just about anything that's happened so far. To have a team 3rd and 13 and have the running back go through you for 17 yards.
Well, that was great individual effort on Robert's part. The clock is moving now, 25 seconds remaining in this quarter. Jay to give to the first man through, Kenneth Evans.
Kenneth Evans gets the ball.
Stop made by number 69, Jason Hard, for the Spartans.
Over center for 3.
I believe the clock is going to run out on this quarter before they get another playoff. We'll be back after this message from one of our sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot Football.
That is the end of the first quarter.
This fall, enter the Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes and win a free limo to and from school. It's Bo Jackson.
School was never like this.
Or a $1,000 shopping spree.
School was never like this.
And best of all, Pepsi will give the lucky winner up to $100,000 towards college.
School was never like this.
Shh! The Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes.
School was never like this.
Didn't I just say that?
Enter the Pepsi Bodacious Back-to-School Sweepstakes.
So, when was the last time you were screened for cancer?
I don't think I've ever been screened for cancer.
And why not?
Never had the time.
It only takes 2 hours at Princeton's new cancer screening center.
Never had the money.
It only costs $48.
I never had a reason.
Right, because it always happens to the other guy.
Guess I don't have an excuse.
I guess not.
These days, there's no reason not to get screened for cancer. Call us for an appointment.
Before I learned about lending money,
I learned about respect. I grew up in a large family of 6 children, and my parents always try to instill in us the importance of treating every person the way we'd like to be treated ourselves. I know what it's like to borrow money because bankers are just like anybody else. We're humans too. Whenever a customer comes in to see me, I treat them like I'd like to be treated myself. When you come into AmSouth to borrow money, you're doing us a favor, and we appreciate it.
Well, back at Spartan Field here in Mountain Brook, we missed one play coming back at the start of the second quarter. It was an incomplete pass. Pass broken up by number 15, Tripp Smith. Pass out in the flat to number 24, Alexander Adamson. Homewood's moving now, and that brings up third down and about, looks like a long 6. Moving from the Spartans' 36-yard line.
Could be another situation where Homewood utilizes Kenneth Evans and uses Robert Davis as a decoy.
Evans right up the middle, like a runaway locomotive. Fred, you called it on the nose. The stop made by number 59, Blake McKibben from Mountain Brook. And you could see those legs pumping.
Outstanding utilization of Kenneth Evans, actually.
Beautiful 20-yard run.
Mountain Brook keying on Robert Davis, which is, well, they should. The man's having a great night tonight. Kenneth Evans, that should leave him open for many, many runs just like that one.
20-yard pickup on the last play.
Another flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Encroachment.
Another encroachment call against Homewood.
Unusual.
Not sure what the problem is here, but I can bet the coaches are working on it right now on the sidelines, trying to figure that one out. You know, it might make a comment if it looks.
Someone lining up in the neutral zone.
Indication is from Danny Callies, who's down on our Homewood bench, that perhaps someone lining up in the neutral zone. And that's the second time that's happened for Homewood, and the third time a penalty's been called in the game. So they give that time to Skipper up the middle to get a little bit of that yardage back, Fred, but we're still facing a second down and long situation. Justin Hinkle made the stop for Mountain Brook.
Robert Davis out for a play for a breather, perhaps equipment repair.
Do you think he deserves it?
After 70 yards on a punt and 46 on a off tackle, I'd say the man deserves it.
Absolutely. Well, to give up the middle again to number 41, Kenneth Evans. Hard yardage grinding out here as we're down inside the 20.
Tough yardage right now for Homewood, but it will pay dividends later in the game. Yeah. Several Mountain Brook defensive linemen already holding their knees, looking somewhat winded, and they have been on the field quite a while.
Well, the ball is on the 13, and so Homewood looks at a third down and about 7, a long 7 situation. A key possession down, and of course a key play for Mountain Brook in this drive.
Look for Robert Davis on this play. Or not.
Well, a pass out to Dwight Whalen. Complete. Chris Phillips on the stop for Mountain Brook. Also on the stop for Mountain Brook, number 37. Well, that was Chris Phillips. That'll teach me to be a spotter and an announcer at the same time, right?
Homewood coming up short, but having a little more success on that play than they did in the first quarter when they ran it, allowing the interior lineman to get out and make a block or two. Still came up short of the first down, and looks as though they're going to attempt a field goal. Wes Steed.
Well, on 4th and 2, Wes is in. Jay Roberson will be holding. This would be a 25-yard field goal that's successful. Kick is down. Up, and the signal is good. So with another 3 points on the board, timeout on the field with 9 minutes and 1 second remaining in the second quarter. Your score from Spartan Field is Homewood 15 and Mountain Brook nothing. Well, I'll tell you, there were some high points and some low points in that particular one, but the bottom line is points went on the board.
Points on the board. They took the ball, drove down the field, used a variety in their play calling. Used Kenneth Evans effectively this time. Used Robert Davis. Even Elvin Skipper got in. Got a good carry. We'll probably see more of Elvin Skipper as the game goes on, and Robert Davis continues to gain yardage. And if Homewood continues to put points on the board, we'll see a lot more of Elvin Skipper and lots of other new faces at Homewood.
I think you may see some more of that pass out to Dwight Whalen on the side too, just to mix it up. Bond is set back deep for Mountain Brook, and West Steed is ready to kick it off. Way up in the corner, looks like it's coming down to Duncan Morris, number 17, who takes it in on his own 10-yard line. What a tackle, ladies and gentlemen. Number 33, Elvin Skipper.
Elvin Skipper.
There was no question about that.
Elvin Skipper, after a 25-yard return.
You gotta love a guy that plays with that much enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm being told now that West Steed did not kick that ball. He was back, but it may have. I'm not sure who the kicker was on that one. We'll have to watch for that next time. Oh, for a replay. Well, the give is to number 34, Greg Bond, one of the two big workhorses in that Mountain Brook backfield.
Barry, I believe they may have to be workhorses. On that play, the Homewood defense could not wait for Mountain Brook to snap the ball. Number 40, one of the inside linebackers, perhaps it was Michael Coggin or perhaps Lee Thompson, could not wait for the snap of the ball. He was up over the center.
Well, it was a loss of about 2 on the play, so brings up second down and 12. Sullivan looks him over. Right up the middle on a little pass intended for number 21, Butch Stringfellow, but incomplete. Bring up 3rd and long now.
3rd and 12, where the Spartans did not need or want to be.
I might mention some of the folks watching the broadcast might think there's a great deal of dirt on this field, and indeed there is. The Homewood coaching staff was telling me just before the game, Fred, that Mountain Brook has just redone their field, and this is their first home game of the season. So they've re-crowned it, in other words, making the center of the field a little higher for better drainage, and that's why you're seeing a lot of sand and dirt out there tonight. Another one right up the middle, intended for number 34, Greg Bond. Eric Rebel's right there with him. In fact, another step and Eric would have had him one, I believe.
I believe he would. He had good coverage on that play also. Everyone that's the backs coming out of the backfield for Mountain Brook, the Homewood linebackers are doing a good job of picking them up, and young Patrick Sullivan, really no one to throw to.
Well, brings up a punting situation, and Tim Rogers, number 3, is dropping back in punt formation for Mountain Brook. Homewood sending back Brian Greer and number 30, Robert Davis. Guess which way they'll try to kick it. To the Greer side.
Well, this one is going to Robert.
Robert's got it.
Again.
Robert takes it in at his own 26.
There is a wall. They make it to
Good pursuit by the Spartans on that particular one. Robert gets about 2 yards on a return. Stop made by number 43, Jim Stewart, and number 61, Ted Robin on the assist. Good coverage on the Spartans' part, we must say.
They were the last men to get him. There was no one else around that side.
First and 10, number 29.
Mountain Brook in a position now for another sustained drive. 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the half. The Homewood coaching staff would like nothing better.
Looks like Jay's going to pass one. He moves up in the pocket. Somebody got him by the shoestring. He looked like number 28, Justin Hinkle from Mountain Brook.
Hinkle made the stop after a 3-yard pickup.
Really nothing else. Jay Roberson could do that time. He sent 3 receivers into the pattern, being covered by 5 Spartans. Really nothing else he could do but pull it down and try and make the best out of it.
Well, 2nd and 8 now for Homewood.
Again, Mountain Brook playing a 2
They sends Alexander Adamson in motion. And they give this to Robert Davis. Off left tackle, and every single yard is a tough yard on that one. Stop made by number 43, Jim Stewart for Mountain Brook.
Looked as though the Mountain Brook staff might have seen something that tipped them off into to a running play by Robert Davis. They were playing a 2-deep zone, covering the White House with linebackers, ready for the pass. And in the midst of Jay Roberson's cadence, they shifted their defense for the 3rd time prior to the snap of the ball.
White Whalen comes from wide to the left side to the near side as you watch it. Pass complete to number 24, Alexander Adamson, and he was stuck hard. Stuck hard by number 59, Blake McKibben for Mountain Brook. But the pass play was good for a Homewood first down. And we do have a flag on the play. I didn't pick that up. We'll have to see if we can get an indication.
Illegal receiver downfield.
There's the call, illegal receiver downfield.
That's unfortunate too. Fine reception that time by Alexander Adamson. Fine reception. Took a wicked hit, but held on to the ball.
Well, let's set the down and distance now if we can. We're back to about Homewood working on its own 30-yard line with a 3rd and 9 situation. Whistles are blowing again. Timeout on the officials. This would be the mid-quarter break. Or are we conferring about something here?
It looks as though he's heading over to talk with Coach Gann.
Well, the clock starts again and moves with 5:18 remaining in the half.
Dinner plans after the game, perhaps?
Could be. Brian Greer is out wide to the near side. Roberson back to pass. He has Dwight Whalen.
Oh, could be. Yeah, should be.
Well, we've got a flag on the play, and the preliminary opinion by all those in the booth is that it may be pass interference.
Barry, it's either a pass interference or 3rd-degree assault that time. It was just...
That's the indication, of course.
No doubt. No doubt.
That's a first down for Homewood. 15-yard penalty. Dwight had the position that time on the route. He was inside his coverage, and it was about all the coverage could do.
I don't think he would have caught the ball had he not or tripped him up.
Well, let's set it again for you. Homewood now moving from their own 45 with a 1st and 10 following that pass interference. Give to Robert Davis out wide to the left. Works his way across midfield. Stopped by number 37, Chris Phillips, and number 43, Jim Stewart. That played good for about 7 yards, a long 7 yards.
That'll put
2nd and 3 now.
That'll put Homewood, the coaching staff, right where they want to be. 2nd and short yardage. 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the first half. Mountain Brook not sure what's coming next. Perhaps a pass play. Roll out for Robert Davis.
Jay sends Alexander Adamson in motion. Give to the first man through is Kenneth Evans. We pick up number 68 for Mountain Brook on the stop. That's Brooks Kimbrough. Also assisted on that play, number 69, Jason Harr. 3:52 now remaining in the half. If you're just joining us, the score 15-0. Homewood leading the Mountain Brook Spartans here at Spartan Field.
So we have a timeout.
This timeout on the field now is for the official measurement. Hard to tell how that one's going to come out, but it looks like they may just have enough.
If it is, it's by the nose.
It's by inches, but it's a first down. Literally by inches.
Gets no closer.
I think it was inside the stripes, Fred. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe they get any closer than that, and I'm sure Kenneth Evans is glad it was.
Now this is the official water timeout. So we'll stop and take a break here for just a moment. Not a commercial break, a water break. Let's talk about Alexander Adamson just a little bit. I don't know the young man, but he's had a lot of action tonight. We didn't see much of Alexander in the Sylacauga game. But Jay going to the air a great deal more, and he likes to send Alexander in motion.
Well, he's using these offensive sets, and he's using players like Alexander Adamson that Mountain Brook perhaps did not see on film and aren't ready or prepared for. And these are guys that, after last week's win, they want to get in here and play. They want to contribute to this team, and they also want to play and make catches like Alexander did on the previous play. There's nothing that makes a team pull together stronger than when everyone gets to play and contribute on a Friday night.
Well, there's a good look at the Homewood side of the field, and it's interesting to note here at Spartan Field that there is not a set of stands on the visitor side of the field. All the crowd sits on this side of the field as we look at it from the press box.
Just like the old Municipal Stadium in Minneapolis.
However, I have spotted 2 or 3 people on the roof of the school across the way from us, and they've got probably the best seats in the house tonight.
I was saying it reminds me of Municipal Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the old one before the new covered stadium.
This is the way the Chicago Cubs fans watch their games. They get that lawn chair and go up on the roof.
Chicago's got nothing on Mountain Brook.
Could be coaches. Good point. Could be coaches. Well, the clock starts again, and Homewood comes up to the line. Jay brings him up and looks at a 1st and 10 now, moving from the Spartan 45-yard line. Brian Greer goes in motion to the right. They give to Robert Davis off left tackle. They'll spot it down at about the 37-yard line. Barry Brown, number 35 for Mountain Brook, in on the stop.
Also, Tucker Alley getting an arm in there basically on the ankle of Robert Davis, or he could have been gone to the races again. At this point, not Mountain Brook, Homewood doing about what they want offensively, working on the passing game. Robert Davis working on the Spartans.
Well, Jay looks at a 2nd and 2, 2nd and 2.5. Giving some adjustments at the line. They give to Davis around the right side. Good for a 1st down and much, much more. Stop made by Tripp Smith for Mountain Brook, number 15.
Looks as though Jay Roberson saw something at the line of scrimmage, checked off to the right play.
He indeed spotted some kind of weakness on that right side. Well, another 1st down, Fred, for Homewood, and they have seemed to move offensively pretty much at will tonight.
Right now, they're moving against what is effectively an 8-man line. Mountain Brook playing 3D, using the corner on the weak side to force, and yet it's still not having an effect of slowing down Homewood that much. Homewood attempting to spread them out somewhat with twin receivers to the wide side of the field.
Give to Kenneth Evans, 1st man through, and he's fighting again for more yardage.
Ball carries.
Mountain Brook's number 43, it looks like, in on the stop that time. But I'll tell you something, we're a long way from the action. You can hear the leather popping up here. There's some hard hitting going on in the middle of that line.
These are 2 rivals that have played each other through the years and always played each other tough. Bragging rights are at stake. And some of the guys just don't like each other. Under 2 minutes to go now in the half, and it looks as though...
Well, Jay on a keeper, and he's up to about the 7-yard line.
Tackle made by Tripp Smith. Took up on the 11th yard. Another 1st for the Patriots.
That's the first time tonight Barry J. Roberson has kept the ball rather than pitch to Robert Davis or hand off to Kenneth Evans. And Mountain Brook was not ready to stop it on that play.
Well, Homewood is definitely threatening with a 1st and goal. 1:31 now remaining in the half, and that clock's running. We'll see what happens with this offensive set. Official spot on the 8-yard line. They give to Robert Davis off right tackle and around the right side, and another score for the Homewood Patriots.
Homewood doing an outstanding job on that toss sweep for Robert Davis. Kenneth Evans providing some crucial blocks. Interior line doing an outstanding job. Stanley Lee.
Just absolutely magnificent play from all the offense tonight. So that makes our score 21-0 now. West Steed in for the point after attempt. Jay Roberson will hold him. Flag on that play. Whistles were blowing, as a matter of fact, while the ball was in the air on the way back.
West Steed will get another chance for that one. It was a dead ball.
But it looks as though Homewood's backing it up just a little bit. Have not been able to pick up a preliminary indication yet, but the legal procedure is the call on Homewood.
That's not necessarily a bad thing for West Steed. He's been hooking the ball a little wide, a little extra, 5-yard extra. Might be what he needs to straighten it out.
Well, we watched Wes at practice not too long ago, putting 35-yarders through. High snap, but Jay gets it down, and the signal is it's good. So with timeout on the field now, your score Homewood 22 and Mountain Brook nothing. And Fred, a magnificent 10-play drive covering 70 yards, knocking 6 minutes, 13 seconds off the clock. Great.
You could just see that when they took the field at the beginning of that drive, they had their game plan in mind. The coaching staff knew what they wanted to do because they had a good mix of pass to run, using Kenneth Evans, Robert Davis, Jay Roberson, keeping on the option on an important play, and throwing some good passes. One, unfortunately, that wasn't counted. Alexander Adamson making an outstanding catch while getting nailed by a Spartan. And unfortunately, a penalty wiped that out, but they came back and overcame that penalty.
Absolutely. Well, as we get ready to kick it off again, I want to pass along congratulations, Fred, to the middle school Patriots. They won a magnificent victory last night, 20-13, in a come-behind win over Mountain Brook Middle. And that's 2-0 for the season for the middle school Patriots. A fine young team under head coach Dickie Wright.
They're doing a good job of preparing them for high school ball.
This time West Steed was indeed the kicker, and it's a short kick taken in by number 17, Duncan Morris. Big stick on that play.
Duncan Morris receives for Mountain Brook.
Looks like Brian Greer in on the stop, assisted by Tamer Sabry on that special kicking team. A 6-yard return, and Homewood defense will come in and try to contain for the remaining 1 minute and 12 seconds in this halftime. And speaking of the halftime, the band is lined up around the edges of the field ready to go, and we'd invite everyone to stay tuned for a magnificent halftime performance by the Homewood band.
They do a good job.
Number 34, Greg Vaughn on a draw play around the right side. Hard running by the Spartan fullback.
The draw play looked as though it worked better than it really did.
Eugene Oliver, number 42, in on that stop, assisted by Damon Southwood.
Homewood playing somewhat of a prevent defense, and I think they're probably willing to give up those type of plays for right now. Keeps the clock running, and I don't think Mountain Brook will beat Homewood or actually score on them running draw plays alone. They're going to have to put some sustained drives together.
Sullivan to the air now. We're down and out pattern. The pass complete to number 2, Tony Kendrick. Stop made by number 42 for Homewood, Eugene Oliver. Out of bounds, and that does stop the clock with 36 seconds remaining. So I think we're going to see a sideline usage, Fred.
Pick and hit and pick by the Mountain Brook offense right now, trying to work their way downfield and get something on the board or even get close before halftime. So far, the offense of the Spartans has been shut down completely. Very little success at all. And timeout now.
So the Spartans are going to take a timeout. They're going to talk about the remaining 36 seconds of this half and make sure they know what their game plan is.
Patrick Sullivan saying something he didn't like, or perhaps a misalignment in the offense. Decided it's better to take a timeout, talk about it, than to waste a play.
I want to remind everybody of next Friday night's game at Thompson. Boy, what a schedule we started with. 3 tough away games, Sylacauga, Mountain Brook, and then Thompson. But on September 21st, next Friday night at Thompson, the Homewood Patriots will take on Thompson. And I won't be with you, Fred, but you and Wayne Glasscock will have control of the announcing duties. And we'll catch you on the replay, which I would remind folks is every Wednesday night on cable channel 35, starting at 8:30. 8:30 on Wednesday nights, the Homewood Patriots replay. And we'd invite everyone to remember to tune in right here on cable channel 35. first quarter, into the first half. Sullivan's back. He's going deep. And incomplete to number 2, Tommy Kendrick. Brian Greer right back there with him on that play, step for step. Took about 7 seconds off the clock, so we're at 29 seconds now.
That was a good choice of plays that time by Mountain Brook. Second and short, they can come back with Bond or Scarborough, pick up the 2 yards, had 4 more plays, 29 seconds to go, and Sullivan showed a good arm. He put it right where it needed to be. 1, to either be caught, and 2, not to be intercepted. That would have been a tough interception.
Well, and Kendrick showed good speed, too. Brian Greer is extremely fast, and Kendrick was right with him. Give on the draw play to number 34, Greg Bond. Bond around his left side, but he's pursued by Scott Hogue. Scott takes him down.
To throw some short ones, some quick ones, to use all night to get several plays in on that 19 seconds.
Now we have the timeout, Mountain Brook, with 17 seconds remaining in the half.
Interesting. Mountain Brook waited for the official to wind the clock up. Ran 2 seconds off the clock and then called timeout. So it takes 2 seconds in high school football to call timeout.
The first home game for the Homewood Patriots will come up on September 28th as we take on Irwin. Is it the Irwin Eagles? I believe it is. The Irwin Eagles at Waldrop Stadium. Might add the new and improved Waldrop Stadium, Fred. I don't know if you've been out this season or not, but quite substantial changes to the stadium.
I have not seen Waldrop Stadium as yet this year. I know it's new and improved Waldrop Stadium, and it's justifiable because it's the new and improved Irwin Eagles with Coach Larry Ferris from out in Center Point coming this way. They don't come to Homewood often, but they will be ready this year.
Well, that's September 28th, and we'd invite everyone certainly to come out and watch the game, enjoy it in person, and then catch the replay on the following Wednesday night.
What time is that, Barry?
8:30 on Wednesday nights. Well, 17 seconds remaining, and Patrick Sullivan brings him up to line. Mountain Brook looking at a 1st and 10. But really, it's a 1st and about 44 for him.
Or if Damon Southward catches him.
Hot pursuit from Damon Southward. Damon takes him right out of bounds, and the flags are flying. And so are the tubas.
Out at Spartan Stadium.
Well, there was a lot of momentum on that play, and I'm sure it was hard to stop running out of bounds.
It looks as though it was worse. It wasn't as bad as it appeared. Damon going at full speed, Patrick Sullivan heading out of bounds. Patrick not being as big as Damon or as fast, not being able to avoid Damon.
Well, the important thing is that Patrick Sullivan is all right.
Perhaps what made it worse, Barry, was the fact that they went crashing into the tuba.
Let's set down a distance for you. We've got a 2nd down situation, I believe. Isn't that right, Fred? 2nd down now. And
2nd and 1.
Looks like...
That would make it a...
No, that would be a 1st down. It's
1st and 10.
1st down and 10. They just haven't moved the sticks yet. So Mountain Brook will move from its own 35, but the officials are calling timeout to make sure the chain is moved.
Like number Eric Reevels decided to take a timeout and make sure they were clear on the last 10 seconds and the strategy for the last 10 seconds. Make sure that everyone is on the same page defensively.
Well, I guess I'm confused because the chain has not moved at this point.
No, and they still have it listed 2nd and 1 on the scoreboard.
2nd and 1 foot. I got you. They didn't quite get enough for the 1st down. That's what the problem is.
I don't recall Mountain Brook losing enough yardage even with the 15-yard penalty to be short of a 1st down.
Yeah, well, I guess that's where I got confused. I lost the mark where Sullivan ran out of bounds because he ran into the band of the sidelines.
So they marked him out, and then marking Sullivan out of bounds at that point and assessing the penalty from there. That makes more sense. And I'm glad
we invite you to...
So you all at home can understand it.
If we don't understand it, everybody's in good shape, right, Phil? 10 seconds remaining, and Mountain Brook looking at about 35 yards to go to get into that end zone. So Sullivan drops back. And will be dropped himself. Michael Narrow, it looks like, on that 66, Chris Cowan on that tackle.
Sullivan looking deep that time for one of his niftier receivers, like Tim Rogers, deep on that play.
Play lost about 8 yards, but it's a moot point because with 3 seconds left, this is going to be the final play of the half, I would guess. I want to remind everybody, while we're in this timeout, that we'll have an absolutely magnificent halftime show coming up. As band director for Homewood, Pat Morrow, would say, we're going to get a chance to watch Homewood's ambassadors to the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade, because the band will be going to New York again this Thanksgiving for yet another appearance in the Thanksgiving Parade. Well, it appears that they are putting down a kicking tee on the 50-yard line. Can it be? That would be a 60-yard field goal attempt, and we're going to see it right here.
Is there anyone in this stadium that really believes this? I'm not sure I do.
There's the snap. It's down. The kick is up, and it's going to fall far short as time runs out in the first half of play. We'll be back to Spartan Field here in Mountain Brook with more halftime activities. The score is Homewood 22 and Mountain Brook nothing. You're watching Homewood Patriot football. 22-0, Homewood over Mountain Brook. I'm Barry Copeland along with Fred Morris. It's our pleasure to be bringing you this second game of the 1990 Homewood Patriot season. And it is also our indeed pleasure, Fred, to bring you the first half stats, because they are quite impressive, and I'll run them down for us, and then we might comment a little bit as the teams get ready to take the field for the start of the second half. First of all, in first downs, Homewood had 8 to Mountain Brook's 4. Homewood rushed the ball 20 times for 197 yards. They attempted 3 passes and completed 2. Passing yardage was 13, so total offense for the Patriots in the first half, 210 yards. 210 yards. Homewood did experience 6 penalties for a total of 35 yards. Some of that the encroachment problem that we talked about earlier. They attempted no punts. For Mountain Brook, 4 first downs. They rushed 13 times for a total of 36 yards. Passing attempts 9 and completions 3 with no interceptions. So Mountain Brook passing yardage was only 21 yards. Mountain Brook's total offense 57 yards, and therein lies the story of this game so far. 210 yards of total offense on the part of Homewood, 57 for Mountain Brook. Mountain Brook did have 3 penalties for a total of 25 yards, and they had 3 punts with a 29.3-yard average. Might mention Robert Davis's own individual rushing yardage, 10 rushing attempts for 141 yards, and I guess most significant, Fred, the 69-yard punt return.
That got everything started for the Patriots tonight. That set the tone for the game. They followed that up with just a dominant rushing attack. Mountain Brook came out and got a first down. Looked as though they could put something together. Homewood took the ball. Robert Davis did it all on the very first punt of the game. Returned it for a touchdown, and I don't think Mountain Brook's recovered yet. The discrepancy in the rushing yardage is just, it's staggering. 197 yards for the Patriots to 36 for Mountain Brook. And if you can't put together some type of rushing attack, then it's going to be very, very difficult to even throw the ball.
Well, we're back at Mountain Brook as Tim Rogers approaches the ball. Drives it deep and on a line drive to number 7, Michael Andrzejewski. Michael picks up the ball at his own goal line. Brings it out to about the 12 or 13-yard line. Stop made by Mountain Brook number 25, David Bowman, and number 28, Justin Hinkle.
Coach Gann putting in some replacements at the start of the second half to get a little experience in the receiving corps. Brian Greer ordinarily deep for the Patriots. Andrzejewski spelling him right now.
12-yard return on that run back by Michael Andrzejewski. Jay Roberson still in at quarterback, sends Brian Greer wide to the left. With a handoff to Robert Davis. Robert up to about the 20-yard line. Stop made by number 15 for Mountain Brook, Trip Smith.
Homewood establishing that running game again in the second half. Seeing if they can pick up where they left off in the first half.
Just to recap the scoring real quickly in the first half of play, Homewood scored on a 69-yard punt return by Robert Davis with 8:45 remaining in the first quarter. The point after attempt was no good, making the score 6-0. With 4:47 remaining in the quarter, Davis with a 46-yard touchdown run, the point after no good, and that made it 12-0. Give up the middle to Davis this time.
Davis rams into the center of the line.
That didn't gain very much.
Mountain Brook doing a good job that time.
Brooks Kimbrough for Mountain Brook in on the stop.
Doing a good job of stacking up Robert Davis in the center of the line that time. Homewood appears getting their second half butterflies taken care of, working up a sweat. I look for them to start taking the ball wide and wear out this Mountain Brook defense again.
Well, they give to Robert up the middle. Plenty of yardage for the first down. Stop made by number 35 for Mountain Brook, Barry Brown.
Good blocking that time by Jason Hamaker, Chris Lusko, Chris Nowling, and Eric Reeder.
A 20-yard run by Robert. Homewood works the ball from its own 41-yard line now. Just in the opening minutes of the second half. Jay Roberson with a keeper play. Stopped by number 28, Justin Hinkle for Mountain Brook. Well, there was nothing available to him around the right side that time.
Not at all. Well played by the Mountain Brook squad.
The Mountain Brook linebackers played it well. Containment, I think, the key to that.
Jay Roberson did about everything he could do on that option play. He faked the option inside, went outside. The play wasn't there for him. He looked the pitch. It wasn't there, and he strung it out as far as he could string it out, and still nothing there. Good play by the Spartans.
It's interesting, though, that Mountain Brook is still running a four-man front on defense against a hard-running team like Homewood. Jay's back to pass, and he's got Brian Greer. Greer at the 47-yard line of Mountain Brook. Stop made by Barry Brown, number 35 for Mountain Brook. Excellent pass.
Very good
right
throw
on the money.
by Roberson.
Good hands by Brian Greer. He looked it in and brought it in.
It was a little high, and on a night like tonight with a humid night, the ground is wet from the rain. That's not an easy pass to catch that far. That's the one play your quarterback has to be able to throw if you're going to have a successful pass offense, is that deep out.
Greer is wide left again. Adamson wide right along with, it looks like Dwight Whalen over there. Give up the middle to number 41, Kenneth Evans. Trip Smith on the stop for Mountain Brook. They spotted just a little bit shy, Fred. Looks like about a yard shy of the first down, so it'll be 2nd and 1 to go for Homewood. Homewood moving again without a whole lot of problems.
No problems right now. Good play selection by the offensive coaches. On this play, I would look for Jay Roberson to go to something that you might want to go for it all on this play.
Well, he's got Dwight Whalen out in the flat. Dwight takes it in at about the 29-yard line. Stopped by number 17, Duncan Morris for Mountain Brook.
And that was
a 13-yard pass play complete to Dwight Whalen.
That play allows you to see the strength of Jay Roberson's arm. That play was a good 25, 30-yard out from where he was lined up, and Jay Roberson put it right on the numbers.
Give up the middle to Robert Davis. Robert for a couple of hard ones. Off right tackle. Stop at number 28, Justin Hinkle of Mountain Brook.
Second and 6.
4 yards on that carry. 2nd and 6 now. The ball's on the 19-yard line. We've got about 7 minutes and 9 seconds remaining.
That's a pass from Roberson, deep out, up the center, testing the center of the Mountain Brook line so we can look for the Patriots to come back with a toss sweep to Robert Davis or perhaps another deep out. The Mountain Brook cornerback, they're playing a little deep. They're playing 10 yards off the receiver and this close to the goal line. That's something you don't want to do.
That pass to Brian Greer out in the flat, and Brian has it down to about the 14-yard line. Trip Smith, number 15, brings him down to Mountain Brook.
The Mountain Brook coaches have yet to see it. The Homewood coaches saw it then. A 10-yard cushion on your own 20-yard line will get you in trouble every time. I look for the Homewood coaches to exploit that whenever they want to.
Well, again, 4 yards on that pass play. Official yardage gain. It was a lot further than that, though, in terms of the distance that Jay Roberson has to throw that football.
35 yards left to right and 5 yards north and south.
Homewood's moving now from their own 15, from the Mountain Brook 15. Give up the middle to Kenneth Evans. Stop made by number 58 for Mountain Brook, Eason Balch. Looks like we're going to have a timeout here to measure that gain, and we'll see just exactly how close it is. Hard to tell where the spot is from this angle, Fred.
It is difficult. It looks to be somewhere
right on the 13-yard line.
I would call it about the 13-yard line.
There's a piece of it inside that chain, and therefore that's a first down. 1st and 10. Homewood on the Spartans' 13-yard line. This drive, by the way, started on the 14-yard line. We've so far run 10 plays, and the ball is now on the 14-yard line.
Interesting call now for Homewood. Do they run? Do they pass? Mountain Brook doesn't know.
2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right this time.
Roberson checking off.
Davis and Evans, the backs. He gives to Robert Davis, pitching out around right in. Looks like he's down to about the 5 now, Fred. 5 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in this third quarter of play here in Mountain Brook. Stop made by number 64, Caldwell Hartley for Mountain Brook, with an assist by number 59, Blake McKibben.
You know, Barry, it could be that Jay Roberson is seeing something in that Mountain Brook defense, or the alternative could be they're calling 2 plays in the huddle and picking the best for the situation once they get to the line of scrimmage.
7 yards on that last run by Robert Davis. Homewood with 2nd and 3. To give to Robert off left tackle. Touchdown Homewood. Put another 6 on the board. Makes the score 28-0.
The best success they've had this evening running the ball has been the slant. Slanting off tackle, slanting off left and right tackle. Kenneth Evans has had good success running up the middle, but it's been 2 to 3 yards to 4, I believe, is the most straight ahead. Those off-tackle slants have been getting Homewood all the yardage they want.
Well, that's the 4th touchdown of the evening for Robert Davis. That drive just consumed 12 plays over 86 yards for 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Excellent job of ball control for the Homewood Patriots here. Point after attempt is good, and with timeout on the field, 4 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The score here from Spartan Field is Homewood 29 and Mountain Brook nothing.
I would dare say that's just the way Coach Gerald Gann drew it up in the locker room at halftime. Nothing is more demoralizing for a team behind already 22-0 than have the visitors come out and drive 86 yards. Approximately 80, I believe it was 86 yards.
Yes, it was an 86-yard drive. 7 minutes, 5 seconds off the clock. Duncan Morris is back deep for the Spartans. Wes Steed set to kick it off. Robert Davis now with 15 rushes for 185 yards in this game, plus the 69-yard punt return and 4 touchdowns. That's a magnificent high school performance. Duncan Morris, the ball carrier for Mountain Brook, stopped by a host of Homewood tacklers on his own 30-yard line.
20 yards. Ball is marked on the 31st and 8. Michael Ashley
A 20-yard return for Morris and the Spartans, so Patrick Sullivan, number 19 from Mountain Brook, will start him off again with the ball on his own 30-yard line. We're going to take time out here in just a moment. I'll let you hear from one of our sponsors. We'll be back after this with timeout on the field. It's 4:48 remaining in the quarter. The score is Homewood 29, Mountain Brook nothing. You're watching Homewood to Alex Scarborough. So, to set down a distance for you at 2nd and 10. Mountain Brook moving from their own 30-yard line. Sullivan's pass just off the fingertips. Mountain Brook's number 33, Alex Scarborough, just off his fingertips.
Sullivan rushing his passes just a bit. That time he had a blocker in front of him, no rush to speak of, and had Scarborough open and just rushed his pass just a bit. He's going to have to slow down, regain his composure, and get something going for the Spartans.
Third and 10 now. Mountain Brook on its own 30. And Sullivan's back. Pass complete to Alex Scarborough. Brought down by a whole gang of Homewood tacklers. Scott Hogue was in on that stop. Also Eric Rebels.
You know, Barry, that last play is a tribute to the Homewood coaching staff. Scarborough catches the ball in the flat. Cornerback comes up to make the play, but doesn't really get a chance to. There are four players pursuing the ball carrier and make the tackle.
Absolutely. Well, Tim Rogers, who's done this a great deal tonight, is back in punt formation for Mountain Brook, with Brian Greer and Robert Davis back deep for Homewood. Pass is high from center and almost blocked. And Brian Greer is going to let it roll. Mountain Brook will down it.
He should catch those. You'll hear about that next week. You need to make fair catches on those type of punts.
Well, Jay Roberson comes out to set the Homewood offense again. It was a 37-yard punt. How much of it was rolling, how much of it was in the air, I'm not sure. But officially, it'll go on the logbook as a 37-yard punt. And Homewood takes over with the ball on its own 27-yard line. 3 minutes, 15 seconds now remaining in the third quarter. Your score from Spartan Field and Mountain Brook is Homewood 29 and Mountain Brook nothing.
So we have some new wide receivers in. We'll cover those.
Well, Michael Andrzejewski is split out wide to the left, and we'll pick up those clean uniforms as we can. We've got Tamer Sabry in the backfield. The give was to Kenneth Evans, though. Stop made by Mountain Brook's number 35, Barry Brown.
Way tight, and the thought of pitch was just something that was a dream in his mind.
Well, 14 yards on that carry. The officials have a timeout now. But we've got it was an injured player, but we've got him off the field. Good. Well, 125, 124 remaining in the third quarter here. A new life for the new offense. Steve to give to Kenneth Evans, the fullback, off left tackle. Stop made by Justin Hinkle for Mountain Brook. You know, Kenneth Evans is so stable, so steadfast, always in there, always driving, grinding out that hard yardage.
A rock-solid fullback, the kind of guy in a situation like this you want in your backfield. You've got a lot of substitutes in. You need that one stabilizing force right now. Kenneth Evans is that stabilizer in the backfield.
Well, the pitch to number 21, Tamer Sabry, around the right side, but he's met by 4 or 5 Mountain Brook tacklers led by Trip Smith, number 15. The 43, Jim Stewart on the assist for Mountain Brook.
So we have another injured Mountain Brook Spartan coming off the field.
Number 77, Walker Pearson, coming off under his own power. About 10 seconds now remaining in the third quarter. I don't believe we'll get off another play in this quarter, Fred. So with timeout on the field, your score is Homewood 29, Mountain Brook nothing. We'll be back after this message from our sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot football. Magnificent run by Wes Steed. First play from scrimmage in the fourth quarter. 48 yards for a score. Great experience for the junior quarterback.
That'll fill him with enthusiasm, motivation. He'll be the first one on the practice field come Monday.
It wasn't that we lost our voice. It was that on the original tape we had a commercial running during that play.
I thought we were just
through the miracle of television and our being speechless, we were able to bring that to you, and we're delighted to do so. Excellent play. We also missed a scoreboard shot after that one, so let me tell everybody that the score is Homewood 35 now, Mountain Brook nothing, and we're lining up for the point after attempt. In that drive, we had 6 plays for a total of 68 yards and 3 minutes and 23 seconds off the clock. Of course, capped by that great run by Wes Steed. And Wes puts it through for the point after attempt. So with 11:51 remaining now in the fourth quarter, Homewood 36 and Mountain Brook nothing. Would you have thought, Fred, at the outset, at the kickoff of this game, that it might be this score at the beginning of the fourth quarter?
I had a feeling that Homewood was going to put it together like this after the way they finished up last week at Silicaga, and looking at the way Homewood played Vestavia. Not Homewood, Mountain Brook. Mountain Brook did not have an outstanding game against Vestavia, losing 22-10. They didn't put a lot of yardage on the board in their rushing game. Overall, their offense was somewhat anemic against Vestavia. I knew after seeing Homewood's defensive effort against Silicaga, a bigger team, that Mountain Brook would be in trouble tonight.
Well, Wes Steed is set to kick it off again. And as we have most of the evening, Mountain Brook has its people back. But they've got some new numbers on the field as well. That's running by number 25, David Bowman. David Bowman with the ball. Stop made by Tamer Sabry and also by Michael Andrzejewski for Homewood. So the Spartans start from their own 30-yard line now with 11:40 remaining in the game. The 15-yard return for the Spartans. We'll try and set some of these new defensive players for you as we can, Fred. The give is to number 33, Alex Scarborough, around the right side. Stopped by number 42, Eugene Oliver, and by number 32, David Southwood for Homewood.
Right now, Barry, it looks as though Coach Gann is going with his basic starting defense right now. I see very few clean jerseys out there to indicate new players.
Well, you know, we had written down the names of some of the players who were in on the offense, and we're going to give those to you as we can. But we got cut short by Wes Steed's touchdown run, and hey, I like that. I like that kind of cut short.
You're going to get cut short. Do it that way.
Well, Sullivan with the give to Scarborough up the middle. Stop by number 88, Michael Flint for Homewood.
Looks as though number 8, Scott Hogue, put a good shot on the Spartan runner that time also.
Scott's always in near the action. Moves to the ball. Dusty Smith comes to the right. Sullivan sets up for a 3rd and 5. Pressure from Rebolds, and the pass was incomplete, but there's a flag on the right side. Pass intended for Tommy Kendrick. Eric Rebels was in there on it, but we'll just have to wait and see what that call is.
Too much pressure on Sullivan that time. Looks as though he was throwing on the run off the back foot, had nothing on the ball, no chance to complete that pass.
Well, there's the call, pass interference on Homewood, so 15 yards and a first down.
Unfortunate.
But with 10 minutes remaining and the score 36-0, that's probably not a great worry for the Homewood coaching staff. You never like to see a pass interference call. They give to number 33, Alex Scarborough, right up the middle on a delay. Stop made by number 64, Eric Rebels for Homewood.
Which is like the Homewood coaching staff has decided to play a little more challenging defense. They're blitzing more, shooting their linebackers. On that play, the tackle made by a blitzing linebacker. And at 36-0, now is the time to play a little more dangerous defense.
The linebackers come again. That time, Patrick Sullivan went nowhere. Scott Hogue and Dusty Smith on the sack. A significant loss to Mtn Brook.
Scott Hogue, Dusty Smith, bringing down the high line.
I guess this epitomizes the Homewood defense so far this year. You've got the team down 36-0. A lot of times the defense will start playing prevent, taking sloppy angles to the ball, just basically losing their concentration, letting up. Not this Homewood defense. They're actually challenging Mtn Brook to do something positive. They're taking the fight to the Spartans.
Well, a loss of 8 on that play, and Sullivan brings him up to the line. He drops back deep. Pass complete to number 33, Alex Scarborough. Stop made by number 41, Kenneth Evans. And number 8, Scott Hogue. Evans playing both ways this late in the game at 36-0. I tell you, he's hungry, isn't he?
A couple of new players in. Jason Zarger's in now for the Patriots.
And also, I'm seeing Kevin Harris, number 5, in the game for the first time tonight. Number 53, you mentioned Jason Zarzar in. Mtn Brook's going to call timeout with exactly 8 minutes remaining in the game, so the clock will stop. And once again, I can't say this too many times. I love to say this. The score is Homewood 36 and Mtn Brook nothing.
Homewood has played a very balanced game, both offensively and defensively. Playing a challenging defense, a coming after you type of defense, no matter what happens, and cheering them on. The Homewood Patriots cheerleaders.
They have something to cheer about tonight.
Sure do. A lot of times people don't realize the band, the Homewood band, and any band at most high school and cheerleaders are practicing just as long and just as hard as the football players do. They start in early August and go all the way through the season, working hard to put on a good show.
Good shot of the crowd here this evening at Spartan Field here in Mtn Brook. It's packed from left to right as they sit in this stadium. And as we mentioned before, both partisan crowds are on the same side in this particular stadium. Looks like Robert Davis now with about 250 yards of total offense tonight. And it is unlikely at this point that he will go in again. That 254 total yards breaks down with 185 rushing and 69 on a punt return. What a magnificent, magnificent evening for the junior tailback from Homewood. Sullivan's pass complete to Tommy Kendrick. Stop made on the play by number 15, Wes Steed, a free safety for Homewood. Wes has seen a lot of playing time tonight on defense with kicks and then in as quarterback.
Much as though Mtn Brook might be attempting to get into an offensive scheme that will be beneficial to him, the slant patterns and quick releases by Patrick Sullivan.
Sullivan on the keeper. Pass out to number 33, Alex Scarborough, incomplete.
incomplete pass that time, but the concept was good. The Homewood defensive end, which is Damon Southwood, coming and rushing Sullivan. If he rushes Sullivan, Sullivan dumps it off to his running back. Right. If he doesn't rush, Sullivan picks out another receiver or takes it around the corner. A good, solid play for Mountain Brook.
And that time a lot of pressure from Scott Hogan, Michael Andrzejewski out on that side. Well, brings up 2nd and 10 now. Mountain Brook moving from the Homewood 32. 7:29 remaining in the 4th quarter of this football game from Mountain Brook. Pitch out to number 22, Robbie Redis. I think that's Redis. The stop made by number 51, Dusty Smith for Homewood. Assisted by Wes Steve, number 15.
The best offensive series Mountain Brook's had since their very first series of the game, Barry.
Yeah,
a good mix of running pass.
Clearly a good mix of different offensive looks. Mountain Brook now with 3rd and about 4.5. Sends Kendrick wide to the left. Sullivan on the fake. The give to number 22. That's Redis again. Bobby Redis around the right side.
Redis, a second-string tailback for the Spartans. Coach Ellison likes the way he runs. This late in the game, trailing 36-0, and you've got a running back, a tailback, and that runs hard, regardless of the score. I look for him to get more playing time for Coach Ellison's Spartans.
Well, Eric Griebel on that stop that time. And that brings up 4th and about 1. So we expect the Spartans to be definitely going for it, and it looks as though they are indeed. Sullivan sets it up with a 4th and 1. They give to Scarborough right up the middle, but it looks like it's not going anywhere. There is a flag on the play, though, and we'll stop and see exactly what the call is. As the officials confer here. The preliminary indication is illegal procedure against Mountain Brook. So they'll have that, conceivably they could decline that if the play did not go far enough. We'll have to see where the spot occurred.
It looks as though a good surge by the Homewood defense might have stopped him short of the first down.
They'll measure this so that Homewood can make its decision as to whether to accept that penalty or decline it. So the procedure call against Mountain Brook declined, and that means the ball goes over on downs. And Homewood will take over at their own 23.5-yard line.
Lots of new players in now for Homewood.
Well, we'll call them out as we see them. Tamer Sabry, of course, still in the ball game. Number 85, Brian Anderson, in the ball game. Number 47, Jameel Bullard, is in the ball game, and I believe you picked out number 66, Chris Cowan, who's already played a great game for Homewood tonight. And number 68, Michael Narrow. Jason Jones is in for Homewood, number 20. And Darian Finley, number 74, also in. We're picking them out as we watch them in the huddle because Homewood's got some new people in. Number 5, Kevin Harris, in. We'll sort out the defensive set the offensive set as we see them come to the line. Also see down there number 50, Mark Scholl. Well, Mountain Brook has a timeout here, and we're at 6 minutes remaining with the clock stopped. 36-0 your score. Not only a tremendous win, looks like it's in for Homewood, but an opportunity to really get some experience for some younger players.
That's true, Barry. Contrasting situations for the coaches. Gerald again with a 36-point lead, given the opportunity to play a lot of the guys that have to practice all week but don't get to play a lot on Friday nights. Coach Gene Ellison Spartans down 36 points, playing to get better for next week.
Well, we've got number 2, Henry Walbert, in at quarterback now, and the give that time was around the left side. Stop made by Barry Brown from Mountain Brook.
1 yard pickup.
Interestingly enough, Fred, the 23-yard line of Homewood is the deepest penetration that Mountain Brook has had this evening. And that's how far they got on that drive. They just went over on downs.
That's true. Well, they can build on that for next week when they play Albert.
Michael Walden comes from wide to the right. Henry Walburn is your quarterback, number 2. Henry's a sophomore this year. Which pitches out to number 21, Tamer Sabry, around the right end. Stop made by number 23, Mark Brenner. And there was a fumble on the play. Mountain Brook has recovered.
Just as it happens many times, struggling for extra yardage, just an extra yard or two, gang tackling by the Spartans, and someone reached in, pulls it out, and it's a first down for Mountain Brook.
Fumble recovered by Barry Brown for Mountain Brook. 4:50 remaining, 4 minutes 50 seconds remaining in the game. But Mountain Brook now with new life, moving from the Homewood 29. That's the first fumble in the game, by the way, Fred. It's been a pretty clean game considering the ground is wet tonight.
Very error-free.
The gift to Scarborough, out to the right side. Stop made by number 33, Alvin Skipper for Homewood. And number 64, Eric Rebus.
Coach Gannon and his staff would like nothing better right now than a goose egg on the scoreboard as this game ends.
You know they're thinking about the possibility of a shutout, but at the same time, it is important to give that playing experience to those younger players. We've talked about this so far this season a couple of times. Homewood's a young team.
Juniors and sophomores.
Juniors and sophomores predominantly. I believe there are 9 seniors, 8 seniors on the squad. Well, Sullivan with a second and short goes to the air. Tipped by number 2, Henry Walburn, and he had it in and out of his hands. The pass was intended for Alex Scarborough. So that'll bring up 3rd and short, 3rd and about 2 now.
Henry had nothing between him and the goal line, but a lot of grass. Well, a little grass.
And some sand.
Some sand.
Mountain Brook sends in the play. 3:53 now, the stop clock after that incompleted pass. That's the give to Scarborough off left tackle.
Henry Walden made the stop.
Still running hard. Scarborough's a good running back, senior, a leader on this Spartan team, and still running hard with 3:44 to go.
A little scare for a minute there. Rebels was on the ground, and I was watching. I think he was just sitting, catching his breath for a second, but I thought for a minute he might have been injured. He looks to be all right. This is the first time that Mountain Brook has been across the Homewood 20-yard line. Sullivan back to pass, but the pass is incomplete to Scarborough.
Second and 10.
Brings up 2nd and 10 now. Mountain Brook has always been a tough over-the-mountain rivalry.
It's been a good rivalry.
Across the valley rivalry.
They always play each other well. The best games are when both teams are up, loaded with seniors.
Sullivan back to pass. Intended receiver number 2, Tommy Kendrick. No flags on that one. Good coverage down there by number 33, Alvin Skipper. Also in on the coverage, Wes Steve and Eric Rebels.
Eric Rebels playing a whale of a game, catching his breath a play or so ago, and then that time he's a good 35 yards downfield, helping cover.
Eric is another one of those fantastic players who is always around the ball. Look for the football, and number 64 will be somewhere around. So with a 3rd and 10 now, 3:22 remaining in the game. Sullivan drops back, pressured, and sacked. And we'll get the call on that number in just a minute. Looks like number 53 for Homewood, Jason Sarzauer, with a sack. Big play for Jason. Big play for Jason.
The best success Mountain Brook had tonight was they moved down the field on the Homewood Patriots with any consistency was the quick hitter, the quick opener, the quick pass. I just don't believe that the Patriots are going to allow young Pat Sullivan to set up in the pocket for any length of time. He doesn't really have time for those patterns, those long patterns to be run.
Well, 4th and long, and Sullivan's back deep. Over the middle and overthrown. Pass intended for number 9.
That was intercepted.
Adam Wilson. And we've got an interception. Missed it, looking for the spot. Skipper intercepted. Elton Skipper with the interception.
Looks as though we've got a flag down on that play also, Larry.
Well, I can't spot it.
So it's thrown in the offensive back.
I got it. Flag's out on the 30-yard line.
Players were standing on top of it.
We'll have to watch and see what the call is here.
Looks as though it's against the Patriots, possibly roughing the passer.
Well, he's marking off the yardage. It's going to take it down to about the 11-yard line. And the indication is roughing the passer. That's an automatic first down. So it is from a long 10. They can make another first down inside the 1 with the way the ball is set. It is in 4-down territory, definitely, with this 2 minutes and 37 seconds left in the game.
More importantly for the Spartans, 4 more chances to score a touchdown.
Timeout, Homewood.
Homewood taking a timeout. On the field, discuss a few things with only 2:37 left in the game. Coach out, setting the strategy, talking to Henry Walburn, talking to some of the other guys, Michael Ashley, Mark Scholl, setting their strategy. Mtn Brook with the first and 10 just outside the 10-yard line.
Well, Fred, I'd say the only thing disappointing about this game with the Homewood team and coaching staff is it's a short bus ride back to Homewood.
That is so
This
true.
is the kind you could enjoy if it was a long ride away. They have certainly played a whale of a game tonight.
And on the flip side, Mtn Brook doesn't have to ride a bus at all.
That's exactly right. So we'll go 2-0 on the season now, and again, a magnificent night for Robert Davis. Sullivan with the keeper that time, and would play good for about 6-yard pickup and down to the 4-yard line.
I'm not sure Homewood was ready for that play.
2:24 now, the clock running with 2:24 remaining.
And quite a few young players in.
I want to send out a special word of thanks to our 2 spotters up here in the booth tonight, Clyde Cook and Larry Wygand, and also we appreciate the statistical help of Danny Kellys on the Homewood sidelines, who helped bring us the information about the plays and about the game tonight.
Alexander Adamson knifing in there to make an outstanding play, cutting down Scarborough for a loss.
Clock runs with 1:47 remaining. Thanks also to the members of the Homewood Patriots broadcast crew, Tommy King, Jack Munger, and Dudley Heineman. It's been our pleasure to bring this broadcast to you tonight here on Cable Channel 35. Reminder that these games are rebroadcast every Wednesday night at 8:30. Well, Sullivan with a 3rd and 8. And we're calling for a timeout. Homewood's going to think about it for just a few minutes.
I think they really want the goose egg. I think they really want the shutout in this case.
Well, this is good defensive experience for these young players that are on the field here.
It really is. Coach Gann has left the man he hasn't put in his seniors, his more experienced players. He's as much as told them that if they score, they'll score on you, but if you keep them out, that'll be a victory for this team, this offensive or defensive unit.
A reminder again that next week the Homewood Patriots play at Thompson. That game is at Thompson.
You see the camaraderie there on the sideline. There's nothing more enjoyable as a player than having the opponent down 36-0 in the last few minutes of a game and be able to get some of that male bonding with your teammates.
Is that something the post office does? Well, on a 3rd down, Sullivan to give to Scarborough up the middle and over to the right side. It looks like they're going to give him the touchdown. Touchdown, Mtn Brook. stretched it out. And I'll have to say that he deserves it. He's put in a whale of a game himself tonight. A fine young player from Mountain Brook, number 33, Alex Scarborough.
He sure has. When they're behind 36-0, he's still churning, driving for every yard he can get, catching passes, making blocks. If you had to give a player a touchdown, that should be the player, and that should be the touchdown.
Played an excellent game. Mountain Brook now decides on its extra point conversion attempt. And it looks as though they will go for two. No, it looks like they're setting up for the kick. Tim Rogers is in for the point after. Duncan Morris holding. Snap is down, the kick is up. The flag is also down.
Looks as though they made it good with 12 men on the field.
That call, you say it looks like 12 men on the field that time?
I believe it did. I've never seen a wingback on an extra point attempt. Sometimes, Barry, you can get away with 12 men on the field on an extra point attempt, but if your 12th man is running through the backfield trying to find a place to line up there,
it's a dead giveaway.
It gives it away.
It's a dead giveaway.
We had a coach once that told us, if you're not sure if you're supposed to be in, you better jump in next to the center and hide.
Well, it's a fine victory for the Homewood Patriots. You know, we haven't reminded the folks all evening of the Spaghetti Supper coming up on September 22nd, I believe it is, at the Homewood Middle School to benefit the Middle School Athletic Boosters Association. Of course, the High School Athletic Association had a very successful barbecue to start the season. And parents and fan support is a part of what all high school football is really all about. Now that extra point attempt from 5 yards back. The kick is up, and the kick is good on the part of Tim Rogers. So, with timeout on the field, 1:17 remaining. Your score from Spartan Field, Homewood 36 and Mountain Brook 7. This victory could not have come at a better time for Homewood. Next week they've got a very tough road trip. They're going out to play the Thompson Indians. And Thompson has a very good program. They have several players that are considered major college prospects, and they are well coached. So the fact that Homewood put it all together tonight, offensively and defensively, speaks well, because that will be a very difficult road trip next week. Well, and of course the Sylacauga road trip was a very difficult road trip too. Very true. That last drive on the part of Mountain Brook, by the way, covered 7 plays, 28 yards, and took 3:27 off the clock. With the final score by Alex Scarborough. Tim Rogers setting the kick for Mountain Brook. Looks as though they might be going to attempt the onside. Yes, they are. Up and Scott Hogue on the reception. We'll just have to wait and see. I believe it was Scott. Looks as though it's a Homewood ball. Referee indicates it is Homewood ball.
Gets it on the 47-yard line. It's the first and 10 now.
3 balls, let's go home.
I believe that was Hogue on the reception that time. Good hands by Scott Hogue, holding on to that ball in the midst of a freight train. 1:05 now, 1:04. The clock counts as Homewood brings it up. Number 3, Frankie Giuliano, split wide to the left. Brian Anderson into the ballgame at tight end on the left side. Henry Walburn is your quarterback. Walburn on the give to number 5, Kevin Harris, and he's met by half the Mountain Brook team. Mountain Brook stop made by number 35, the primary tackler Barry Brown, assisted by number 56, who is not on the official roster.
Looks as though we'll get one more playoff before we put this one into the record book.
Just under 30 seconds counting down now.
Mountain Brook next week will play host to Albertville. here at Spartan Stadium. Coach Ellison next week working on the things that are not going well for the Spartans. Coach Gann trying to improve on tonight's game.
Waldron on a keeper to the left side. Caught right at the line of the scrimmage as the clock counts down 3, 2, 1. Call it another victory, Fred, for the Homewood Patriots. That's the end of the ball game with the score Homewood 36 and Mtn Brook 7. We'll be back with final stats right after this message from our sponsors. You're watching Homewood Patriot Football.
Before I learned about lending money, I learned about respect. I grew up in a large family of 6 children, and my parents always tried to instill in us the importance of treating every person the way we'd like to be treated ourselves. I know what it's like to borrow money because bankers are just like anybody else. We're humans too. Whenever a customer comes in to see me, I treat them like I'd like to be treated myself. When you come into AmSouth to borrow money, you're doing us a favor, and we appreciate it.